1950 Dodge Wayfarer drive shafts. Now this actually covers Dodge, any of the ball and trunnion Dodges. I think they used them from the 1940s, maybe earlier, up into the 1960s on the lower cars, meaning like the Dodge Wayfarers, and then later Darts and Valiants and things like that. Big Chryslers would have the cross U-joint types that you're more familiar with. All of the kits you can get for the ball and trunnion from any of the aftermarket suppliers I found have been substandard. The pins are too long. There's little caps inside that are too tall, and you have to file things down. I put this together. The drive shaft that's on the car, the trunnions have rebuilt trunnions on them, both front and rear, but at about 45 miles an hour, it's a slight vibration. I've had this car up to 70, and the vibrations are just kind of constant and annoying. Not out of control. I thought he did a pretty good job for not being a machine shop, replacing those ball and trunnions. I just can't stand those vibrations. They drive me nuts. So you can get a replacement, replace the drive shaft. So this particular drive shaft series takes a 1310 series U-joint, and it takes these are for that ball and trunnion, the flange. They have the correct flange. This is if you type into Google or eBay or whatever it is called I think a 2-2-349 yoke. And these replace the Dodge. That bolt pattern's the same as the ball and trunnion. And the U-joint series is a 1310. I measured my old drive shaft from flange to flange, and on a Dodge Wayfarer, I measured about, from extended to fully retracted, it goes like 56 to 58 inches, so it's about 2 inch. And so what I got right in the middle of that range, and with a slip joint on this. So I'm going to try and replace this drive shaft and hope that it doesn't shake as much. So I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, ball and trunnions being replaced with a cross type U-joint. And to put this on, I just pulled off one cap. I left the other one on, and doing this one-handed. There we go. And now I can pull that over, and what the worst thing about these, whenever you're doing a U-joint, is if you have a needle fall over. So what I try to do is get as much engagement as I can. So here I've pulled the yoke all the way over, and now I'm going to push that on, so I have at least partly on the needles are partly engaged in the U-joint already, and I have what's called a what do they call it, ball joint press, and it's actually great for U-joints. And I will basically just be doing one of these little numbers right here. That on there, and I've got my ratchet like that. Sorry, my camera, I'm looking at what I'm doing instead of looking at the camera. But basically put that on there, tighten that down, it'll push that over, hopefully. So I'm, again, just doing it one-handed. I've got tools in the way, but this is kind of the rough idea of how this will go. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, picking up where we left off, I just hand tightened that on there. And this has a hole in the end, so the other cap should go in there. And I will tighten down. Again, I'm doing this one-handed. Try one need. But look, see, that's going right together. It's going to get stiff again as that other cup tries to go in, but that one's pushing in nicely. It's really just one-hand operation for me right now, as that cross is pushing together nicely. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put one of the end clips, because these are external clips that go on the top, and I will pull this off before I finish and put the one retainer on this one, and then push that into it, and then should be able to slip this one right on. So I'll be right back. I need two hands to get the bag open. Okay, so you can see here's the clip right here, and they go There's a little groove in there. Sorry about my shakiness. Yeah, I can get this in there, and then I'll press the inner cap into the groove. So basically just use a set of needle nose, squish that together, and then slip that right into that groove, and you're good to go. All right, back to cranking here. Again, just one hand. You see how slick this is going together? And it should get stiff when I get out to that outer bracket. It'll stiffen up again. It can flop around, doesn't hurt us at all. If I put my knee on, it helps hold it in place, but I don't need to. Just about there. Yep, see, it just got tight. So that means I've got this cap over here against that. So now we'll see if we can get that clip in. It looks like there's probably enough room to just slip that clip in. All right. Okay, so I got the clip in. And both sides are clipped in and in nicely. New joint's all rock. So now the next step would be unbolting the old drive shaft and just bolting this new drive shaft in. So to be continued. Oh yeah, she's running pretty smooth without any vibrations now. Up that where she used to vibrate pretty hard right at 50 miles an hour. Now we're cruising along